that she left it open, and then my daughter comes to the window and sees me, and she calls it blowing smoke. She's like, Dad, why are you blowing smoke? She's holding it out. She's like
that.
She's like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Dad, I want you to stop. So she's at her grandma's house right now, right? And she called me last night. I call her up. I love when she picks up the phone. She goes, hey, Dad. I'm so excited, right? Like, hey, buddy. You know, and I sing her usually a song from the Jungle Book or whatever. Right now, she said, I want to be like you. And she's like, so what did you do today when I wasn't? So I told her all this stuff. She goes, what else did you do? And then she goes, did you blow smoke? And I go, no, I didn't. She goes, good. I don't want you to do that anymore. I'm like, oh, man, she's serious. So I have the cigars that are in my humidor, and I'm not accepting anymore. Someone tried to give me two. I was like, I can't. So I think what I'll do in the future, because I got nothing left, Bert. I got nothing left. Okay? A root beer and a cigar is all I got left.
A root beer. I love fucking root beer.
I love it too. But you can't drink too many because then you ruin it.
That seems to be the rule with everything.
Yeah. No, it is. And there's all these fancy ones, but at the end of the day, child sense memory, there's nothing better than A&W. It's just, it is what it is. So, yeah. So I was actually thinking I got time after this podcast and I'm going to have a quick one. And, but I mean, you know, I'm an old dad, so I really got to watch myself. You know, I went to the heart doctor, I got my heart, and then I went to the thing where I got my heart scanned.
You did the CT scan?
Huh?
You did the CT scan?
Yeah.
Did you get your results yet?
I don't know where they send them. I think it's to my
cardiologist.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. But he also gave me the name of a someone who gives you a physical. I'm just going to start going like every 6 months. And like my New Year's resolution is I'm going to have like one salad a day. Like when I do that, it keeps the weight off and also keeps sort of the sugar salt thing under control. But I don't know, that whole like going like, you know, meatless and everything, those people, you really have to know what you're doing. If you just go vegan and all that, like very quickly you start looking like a prisoner of war. Like you're wearing dirty pajamas, they're hanging off you and shit. I got a friend of mine that did that stuff, and I think he's figured it out more. But dude, like he got to the point where like his body was eating itself. He was so gaunt, like you could see like his cheekbones and shit. And I was just like, there was a point in the beginning. It was just like, yeah, man, you look great, and then it's like, whoa, hey. But you have a pork chop there, buddy. You're something is not in. I'm not saying that it's either one is better or worse. It's kind of like what works for you. Because I will say I've never eaten a vegan meal.
You said, and this is true. Getting salads prepared and ready in your fridge to go was fucking key.
Dude, I made one yesterday holding my son. Because I had cucumbers, tomatoes, all cut up. And I had chicken that I had already baked, cut up. And then I had already washed all the head of lettuce, and that was all done. So all I had to do was throw all of that in a bowl, little red wine, vinaigrette or whatever, and a little olive oil and a little bit of salt. Shook it up, dumped it in. That was it.
What about a meal delivery service that sends you healthy meals? Could you do that?
No, I can't, because it's so much more. They claim that it's less waste than going to the supermarket. Because my thing is, then all of these fucking plastic tins, then I just recycle them. You know, they just throw it in the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
But there's the other side that if I go to the grocery store, all that shit is wrapped in paper and plastic and all that crap, and they're unboxing that. But then my thing is like, well, so you still got it. So it's like you went to the grocery store for me, but now you have to have these fucking tins that you put it in. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, I watched something last night on the Travel Channel, speaking of oceans and waste and everything. Or I know it was the E-Travel. Dude, it was one of the worst fucking shows I've ever fucking seen. First of all, they kept going, and this is big with celebrities. They'd be like Leonardo DiCaprio, and it would just be a picture of him. It wasn't him there. It was just some stock Getty image or whatever. And then they just kept cutting. They cut to Ricky Martin 3 times talking about Mexico, just going like, oh, the food, great people, great food. And they just kept using that thing. Every time they go to Mexico, they would cut to Ricky Martin like he's been everywhere in Mexico. So, and it was all of those, like, the number one thing that I fucking hate to do when I go on vacation, especially if I'm going to a non-white country, is to fly down to the colonial white fucking resort, and you standing in a bar pool talking to some guy from Cleveland, right? Yeah. The whole thing's fucking white owned, and then they go like in like Tahiti, they go, and we have culture night, and like then all the locals come in dancing with fire and all of this bullshit, and it's just like the whole thing it's just gross. I had that experience when I went to the Dominican Republic, and they just got us in this van and blew by some of the most brutal poverty I've ever seen in my life. And the next thing you know, we're in like a bar pool, and I'm drinking a rum out of a fucking coconut going, what the fuck did I just see? And then they're sitting there, fresh towels and blah, blah, blah. And it was just, the whole thing just seemed bad. So I ended up going off the reservation, going into town one night, and people were looking at me, and I was like, oh, this is stupid. Because now I'm going to take the beat down for whatever those fucking people that built the resort did. I need to go back to the resort, Yeah. Some guy who almost wasn't quite Sammy Sosa and didn't make the show, but still could swing for the fences. He just couldn't hit the curveballs. Now going to hit my big fucking melon as I walk down the street. I had to get out of there.
I had been, for the longest time, every time I travel abroad, I work on the same bit of, it disgusts me when we go to like Mexico and you're with all your like, for me, I've been so many times, and you're with all your white friends, and then the Mexican dude who lives in Mexico comes up to take your order, and everyone goes, oh, hola, ¿cómo está usted? ¿Tú tienes cerveza? And then he's got to be like, sí, con limón, and they're like, oh, con limón. ¿Tú tienes guacamole? And that's always made me fucking crazy. I'm like, I'm not going to practice.
It's the fucking worst. If you want to do that, I recommend you go to, I got stuff on my screen here. Go to France and just torture them with your French. That's what I do. I refuse. They start speaking English, I will not break character. Because my whole fucking thing with those fucking cunts are, I have to listen to your English. I went to the supermarket and I saw the and I don't sit there going like, oh, Jesus, and start speaking his fucking language. But the thing is they're such cunts. There's something about it. I love them.
Yeah.
And when you go to Paris, like the way that they dress, it's so not us, where we're just like, just as much flashy shit as you can have on. Like you can't have enough shit. Like that stupid, one of those Kardashians sitting there with a thong up her ass, doing some picture, and she has a wall of those stupid fucking bags that you can't buy. You got to ask them, and they're like, maybe we'll make them. You know those bags?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever those fucking things are called. You go to Paris, it's just like they would be considered vulgar. And you watch them, they go down the street, they got all mute colors on, but nice clothes, and then they'll just be the pocket square, or the woman, her shoes, or her bag. There's one little pop that catches your eye as she's walking through one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And that's me and my wife. We just sit there getting hammered, people watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. I love seeing the old Ray Winston looking guys, even though it's sacrilegious because he's from fucking England or whatever. Yeah. I saw him in a steakhouse one time, middle of the day, dressed to the nines, pocket square. So that's what I think. Old school, classy guy. You see those guys where it's still, they're still wearing like the tight shirt, with the it's all tucked in and shit, you know what I mean? But because they're dressed dapper, like my wife looks at them and like, and thinks they're cool. It's when you're like that shape and you're still wearing like cut off sleeves like we do here, sweatpants and your fucking ass crack peeking out.
You gotta give it up. You gotta give it up for the guy that works like, my heart swells for the guys when you go just off the cruise ship, right? Just to those bars right off the cruise ship in Cozumel or Cancun, and the Mexican guy that just takes one for the fucking team and soft shoes it up, and he's like, and you're like, "Como está usted?" He's like, "Hey, how you doing? You want a sombrero, huh?" Like, I love that, and then he does all this shit, and he's like, "Oh, tequila, tequila, tequila!" Like, I wish we had an American bar like that where you
Isn't that Hooters? There has to be a thing in those countries where there has to be an insult that's who you're going to be, as opposed to keeping it real and trying to grind it out. And like, I'm not going to go work some tourist fucking place and have some fucking freckled cunt from LA like me come down there and be like, "Donde está me?"
We should open a bar. Bill, in like Mexico City called America. And you go in and yeah, right? So then Mexicans go in, and then I'm like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" And they're like, "Hey," and they're like, "Cheeseburgers for everyone." And they're like, "Ah!" And he's like,
"Don't think that works.
Supersize it."
I just don't think it works.
No, and then we just play him. We're like, "Uh-oh, here comes Chang. Watch out for this guy." Like, we just add in all our American racism and sexism. Hey, you can smack waitresses on the back of the ass still.
Yeah, I don't know if you could go down there and somehow, I don't know, I already lost my idea. Yeah, I don't know. Human beings are terrible. The stuff that we do to each other. I saw a fucking thing the other day showing this kid starving in Africa and the mother crying, and all the kid needs is fucking food. All he needs is food, and it's this stupid charity, and I got to sit there going like, "You fucking pieces of shit. You showed that thing. You're going to keep most of this money, aren't you?"
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're going to do?
Yep.
Oh, buddy. Oh, I saw one of those the other day. There, Bert. And it was attached to all these famous women who are all taking salaries.
Oh, I heard about this one.
Yeah, they took salaries, Bert. Who takes a salary from a charity? They took a salary, Bert. Oh, my God, that was big news. Oh, people got canceled, Bert. Oh, careers were nothing. Nothing happened because it was women. Fucking ridiculous. They sit there talking about a double standard because of the stupid stud whore thing. Get the fuck out of here.
Our dog's in heat, and I keep telling my daughters, because our other dog's trying to fuck the dog in heat, and I keep jokingly say to my daughters, she's asking for it. Like, it's her fault. And my daughters, they're like, "Stop saying that. I think you fucking believe that." Like,
you are wording it in a way that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.